Live. Now, this is the World Market Index Live, and we focus on current data, figures, and news happenings from around the world from the time of this recording. And we give a quick scan of current news and current events in the capital market, money market, and of course, commodities. My name is Titilayo Oyinsan. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, let's head straight in, shall we? The global market struggled to gain momentum with most major bourses ending in the red. The NGX ended trading in the red yet again. The GSECI recorded losses after seeing no change in the previous session. And for the NSE, it reversed gains, recording only losses today. In South Africa, stocks closed a little higher. South African stocks closed higher. European stocks ended flat to lower. For US stocks, there was a bit of a decline. And for China stocks, there was a rebound. Let's talk African equities first. The Nigerian Exchange ended the traded session in the red again, with the ASI declining 958.16. That's minus 1.86% points to close at 50,442.37, representing a 1-week loss of 3.57%, a 4-week loss of 2.44%, but an overall year-to-date gain of 18.09%. At the end of the trading session on the NGX, a total of 156,167,630 shares in 4,618 deals, corresponding to a market value of 638.45 naira was traded. Now, 105 NGX listed equities participated in trading, ending with 3 gainers and 37 losers. Livestock Feeds led the gainers with 1.63% share price appreciation, closing at 1 naira 25 kobo per share, followed by FBN Holdings at plus 1.36%. And on the losing side, Nationwide Express came out last with an end-of-day price appreciation of 10% at 63 kobo per share, followed by International Breweries at minus 9.91%. The current market capitalization of the Nigerian Stock Exchange is 27.2 trillion naira. For South African stocks, the JSE FTSE All-Share Index closed 1%, or about 672 points higher, at the 7-week high of 68,442, with gains in almost all sectors, led by a 2.8% rise in coal miners, followed by a 2.4% gain in energy stocks. Meanwhile, South African retailer Woolworths ended almost flat after posting faltering growth in sales, with results for the year ended June up 1.4% compared with 9.7% jump in the year concluded June 2021. As more people eat out and as sales fall, at least in the Australian unit, David Jones. Now, also shares of the Kumba iron ore shed 1.1% after posting a 50% slump in half-year profits amid lower iron ore prices and rising fuel and freight costs. In Ghana, the GSE CI paired a 0.88, that's minus 0.04% points to close at 2,439.62, representing a 1-week loss of 0.99%, a 4-week loss of 2.7%, and an overall year-to-date loss of 12.54%. Today's data shows a 664% improvement in volume and a 132% improvement in turnover. 19 GSE listed equities participated in trading, ending with a disappointingly low 2 losers, namely CalBank minus 1.33% and Ghana Oil Company at minus 0.55%. There were no gainers. Now, Alu Works recorded the highest volume of 50,000 traded shares, followed by Produce Buying Company at 12,878, Ghana Oil Company at 12,222, and CalBank at 8,298. In a bit, we're going to look at the NASI. Okay, so the NASI declined at 1.50, that's minus 1.09% points to close at 136.58 when presenting a 1-week gain of 0.89%, a 4-week gain of 16.85%, but an overall year-to-date loss of 17.95%. At the end of the trading session on the NSE, a total of 5,400,000 and 66,000 300 shares in 200 deals, corresponding to a market value of 113,894,035.98 Kenyan shillings were traded. 26 NSE listed equities participated in trading, ending with 12 gainers and 12 losers. Limuru Tea Company led the gainers with 9.94%, share price appreciation closing at 461.75 Kenyan shillings per share, followed by East African Cables at plus 5.56%. On the losing side, Centum Investment Company came out last with an end-of-day price depreciation of 19.52% at 8 Kenyan shillings per share, followed by Cooperative Bank of Kenya at minus 3.08%. Today's data shows 42% improvement in volume, 22% improvement in turnover, but a 77% decline in deals. The current market capitalization of the Nairobi Securities Exchange is 2.13 trillion Kenyan shillings. We'll be heading over to Europe in a bit. Thank you so much for pointing that out. And we got it. All right, so let's head over to Europe, shall we? All right, then. Technology. All right. And there we have it. Let's head over to Europe now. Okay, for Europe, Germany's main stocks index, the DAX, closed at 0.8% or minus, not minus, that's 108 points lower at a one-week low of 13,102 on Wednesday, while the regional stock 600 ended flat amid growing concerns over the economy and the worsening energy crisis. Now, Gazprom again reduced flows through the Nord Stream pipeline due to maintenance, prompting EU countries to reach an agreement today to cut gas usage by 15% through the winter. Now, also IMF cut its economic growth forecast for the Eurozone to 2.6%, citing the war in Ukraine as a major drag on the bloc's major economies. Meanwhile, investors digested more corporate earnings on the eve of a highly anticipated interest rate decision from the US Fed. UBS profits were amiss as revenues at its investment bank fell 14%. Logitech cut its 2023 guidance after posting a 38% slump in its profits. Now let's head over to Asia. The Shanghai Composite rose 0.83% to close at 3,277 by the Shenzhen, while the Shenzhen Component gained 0.95% to 12,409, rising for the first time in 4 sessions, with nearly all sectors finishing higher as investors turned optimistic about China's economic recovery for the rest of this year. China will reportedly increase financial support for cultural and tourist firms by guiding more credit towards the sectors affected heavily by recent COVID-19 outbreaks. Now, mainland stocks also got a boost on Monday after it was reported that the government is planning to set up a real estate fund that could be worth up to 300 billion yuan to support property developers. Now, strong gains were seen from heavily traded firms, including Tianji Lithium at 3.3%, Gangfen Lithium at 2.5%, Sinomine Resource at 5.9%, and JS Corrugating at 5.7%, Chongqing Shangan at 1.6%, and Anhui Jianghua at 10%. For the CAC 40, it ended in 0.43% lower at 6,209.76, snapping a 3-session gain pressured by profit warning from Walmart, further lower growth forecast from IMF, and Russian gas cuts starting tomorrow. And investors also have their eyes on the Fed rate hike decision due also this week as they battle with growing recession fears. Veolia Environment retreated 3.4%, the most in the index, as JP Morgan expressed concerns about the negative impact of the European energy crisis on the group. Other losers include Alstom at minus 3.3%, Essilor Luxottica at minus 2.11%, Renault at minus 2.81%, and Saint-Gobain at minus 2.14%. In contrast, Dassault Systèmes added 1.27% after it posted upbeat quarterly results and raised its earnings forecast for 2022. Three major U.S. stock indexes, the three major ones, lost about 1% as disappointing forecasts from Walmart added to worries about soaring inflation and its impact on consumers and economic growth. Now, Walmart sank roughly 10% after cutting its quarterly and full-year profit estimate, sending shares of other retailers deep into the red. At the same time, General Motors dropped over 2% after the company missed earnings estimates, citing persistent supply chain bottlenecks. On the flip side, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, General Electric, UPS, 3M all surprised investors on the upside. Aside from a busy week of earnings, all eyes will turn to the Fed monetary policy announcement on Wednesday, with markets pricing in a 75 BPS interest rate hike as the central bank ramps up its fight to tame inflation. Okay, so we're going to head over to Europe at this point. Let's go to the UK. For UK stock, the FTSE 100 ended little changed in negative territory at 7,306, snapping gains from the last three sessions following a weak open by US markets and amid news that the IMF had cut UK growth forecast losses in banks. Goodness me, at minus 0.8%, and retail stocks at minus 4.9%. They almost offset the gains spurred in commodity-related stocks by softening dollars. Vodafone fell 5.2% after UBS and JP Morgan cut the telecom operators' target price. Wix slumped to a record low of 18% as it posted below expected full-year profit forecasts, while Barclays retreated 0.8% after it announced a buyback up to of about $17.6 billion of securities sold in breach of U.S. regulations. In contrast, Unilever rose 2.9% to their highest in more than 7 months after the consumer giant raised its full-year sales guidance as it hiked prices to counter soaring costs. There's still more. Stay right there. Okay, now let's talk commodities. Corn futures rose to a one-week high of around $6 per bushel after the USDA weekly report showed worsening condition of the crop amid heat waves in the Midwest and Plains. Sugar futures on ICE extended their plunge to 17.4 cents per pound late July, the lowest in 1 year amid heightened recession fears and a strong supply outlook. Cocoa futures on ICE jumped to above the $2,380 in late July, and that's the highest in 1 month as poor growing conditions for major producers dented the supply outlook. Copper futures rose to past $3.4 per pound on Tuesday, recovering further from a 20-month low hit in mid-July, as a growing list of miners have flagged reduced production due to various disruptions. Now, this is offsetting recession fears that gripped the commodity markets since the beginning of June. And that's all we have time for on the World Market Index Live. My name is Titilayo Oyinsan. It's been a pleasure. If you have any comments, contributions, we'd love to have them in the comment section. Of course, you can always reach out to us if you have any, conversations you'd like to have. We are open to interviews, and loads of conversations will be happening on this particular channel very, very soon. All right, then. Until next time, happy trading.